why Justin Gaethje is being overlooked against Paddy Pimblett in his main event fight at UFC 324. I feel like now the narrative is this is a very winnable fight for Paddy Pimblett. He's the favorite. Justin Gaethje is 37 years old and no longer in his prime, especially after the Max Holloway loss, where he got dominated and knocked out in the last second of the fight, taking a ton of damage. On top of that, being a white belt on the ground, having no jiu-jitsu, and being very easy, very submittable, and just not great on the ground, and just overall not a great grappler. Whereas Paddy Pimblett is known for his submissions. That's arguably the best part of his game, and Paddy is going to be able to take him down and submit him within the first couple of rounds. And on the feet, Paddy Pimblett has a granite chin. Justin Gaethje won't be able to knock him out, and Paddy Pimblett is improving on the feet, so there's a chance that it is close even if it does remain on the feet. As well as Paddy Pimblett having his best performance to date against Michael Chandler, where he dominated and finished him. It wasn't close at all, and it looked like the best version of Paddy Pimblett we've seen. Now, this is a narrative that the odds makers clearly agree with Paddy Pimblett being a minus 200 favorite, a 2-1 favorite against Justin Gaethje, the former interim champion. But when you actually watch these guys fight and watch their fights back, it's clear how wrong the odds makers are in this fight. In no way should Paddy Pimblett be a minus 200 favorite in this fight, and arguably he shouldn't be the favorite at all against Justin Gaethje. Let's start off with the Michael Chandler fight and why it's one of the most overrated performances of this year, and it really wasn't as dominant as you may think, and it didn't go the way as many people remember it. For starters, Chandler was visibly washed. This was easily the worst version of Michael Chandler we've ever seen. It wasn't even comparable to the version we saw him at UFC 268. And people remember this as Paddy Pimblett taking him down with ease, then eventually getting ground and pound and finishing him over the 3 rounds, when that's just not the case. It was actually Michael Chandler who was getting the takedowns. He got the first takedown in the first round pretty easily, and then in the second round he got the takedown, but in Michael Chandler fashion, he rushed the back take, fell over the top, I believe, and then from there, Paddy Pimblett was able to get dominant position, land ground and pound, and that's what really caused the end of the fight, because after that, Michael Chandler was done. He was gassed. He didn't have much left in him. And then in the third round, he was able to get the takedown, but that was after landing the knee up the middle with Michael Chandler, who's like 5'7", always dips his head. I know Gaethje dips his head a little bit, but with Chandler, it's just going to be easy to land because of how short he is. He got the takedown with ease because Chandler was just done from there. And on the feet, Paddy's striking offense wasn't as impressive as I remember it. He mainly just used leg kicks at range against Michael Chandler, which we've seen him do against Bobby Green. Since that fight, he hasn't been as reckless as he used to be. The same could be said for Justin Gaethje. They're not as reckless as they used to be, and with Paddy Pimblett, he mainly just focuses at staying at range, using his length and landing leg kicks. But I don't think that this approach is really going to work against Justin Gaethje. Going leg kick for leg kick with Justin Gaethje just isn't going to work out. We know Justin Gaethje has some of the best leg kicks in the division. Additionally, even with his leg kicks, he never sets them up. Against Michael Chandler, he got countered a few times pretty bad because he didn't set up the leg kick. He wasn't in range to throw it. He was a little bit too close, and Michael Chandler right down the middle caught him. Obviously, Paddy Pimblett has a great chin, so he was able to eat it. But against Justin Gaethje, he could easily land this shot. And I think Justin Gaethje hits a lot harder than Michael Chandler, and he's a way better striker, even than Michael Chandler in his prime. He hasn't fixed any of his defensive striking problems. He still has his chin up in the air. He doesn't really have his hands up that often, and he's just very easy to counter. He does fight more patient, so his cardio is a little bit better compared to the Tony Ferguson fight, where his cardio looked awful. He was completely gassed in the third round. I will say in the Michael Chandler fight, the most impressive thing about Paddy Pimblett was his cardio. It was a decent pace, and he looked completely fine through 3 rounds. You know, against Justin Gaethje, he's going to do a lot more damage because Paddy Pimblett really didn't take that much damage in this fight, and it will be 5 rounds if it even lasts that long. And more with his striking, he just throws one strike at a time. He doesn't really throw nice combinations or anything like that. Again, Justin Gaethje also doesn't really throw in combinations at time, but I still think he's the far better striker than Paddy Pimblett. And I don't believe this narrative that, oh, Paddy Pimblett has improved his striking so he could actually stand with Justin Gaethje. And even though he's not as good of a striker, it could be close. I just don't see that at all. I think Justin Gaethje is so much better on the feet than Paddy Pimblett. Now, the last thing, Justin Gaethje has underrated takedown defense, and Paddy Pimblett's takedowns are overrated. And I don't think it's going to be super easy for Paddy Pimblett to take him down, especially early on in the fight. Against Charles Oliveira, we know Charles couldn't take him down. He needed to drop him with his hands to get him down and then submit him. Against Khabib, he did get taken down, but his takedown defense actually looked really good against Khabib, who is a far better wrestler than Paddy Pimblett. Paddy was only really able to take down Tony Ferguson consistently, who at that point in his career, everyone was able to take him down. Everyone in the UFC was on like a 7-fight losing streak. He couldn't really take down Jared Gordon that often. And Bobby Green, it was mainly just a slip where Bobby Green had to initiate the takedown where he got submitted. Paddy Pimblett didn't actually take him down in that fight. So I do expect Paddy Pimblett to be improved. I expect him to shoot more in this fight, but I still don't know how much it's going to help him. I know he got taken down by Fiziev early, but he was able to get right back up. That does worry me a little bit, but Fiziev has better striking, so it makes his entries even better. So it's a little bit easier for Fiziev to take down Gaethje than Paddy Pimblett. And on the feet, it's not close. Justin Gaethje has way more power, has much better cardio, better kicks, just an overall better striker. And I think it's closer in the grappling than it is in the striking. He outstruck Dustin Poirier in the rematch, which is one of his best performances to date. He outstruck Fiziev twice, who's one of the best strikers at lightweight. And I think Paddy Pimblett's only real way to win is either one, Justin Gaethje is completely washed. He looks much worse than he did in his last fight, which is very possible. Or he is able to get a takedown in the first or second round early and he submits him easily. That's also possible, but I just don't think it's very likely. And the last way is if it happens like a Bobby Green fight where Justin Gaethje slips, maybe throws a kick, slips, Paddy Pimblett gets on top, submits him. I could also see that happening where Paddy Pimblett kind of just gets lucky. But let me know what you think. I think Justin Gaethje should win this fight by a TKO in the second or third round. Let me know what you disagree with.